right, guys, welcome to a new episode. This episode is about crypto. I'm with Demetris, my co-host. Myself, it's Akim. We both eToro popular investors, and we will discuss the very heated topic of crypto and Bitcoin in particular. And I'm going to start with what Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan, said that in Davos, Switzerland, at the beginning of the year in January. He said that Bitcoin, and I'm quoting him, is a waste of time, is a hyped up fraud, and a pet rock. He does mention a difference between Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. He did mention that certain cryptocurrencies do have potential in the future. The ones that are on smart chains, that have smart chains and that can make tokenized items move essentially and can help real world transactions. But he did say that Bitcoin, the only use cases of Bitcoin was essentially fraud, money laundering, sex trafficking, financing. So if this was the case, why, and this is a question to you, Dimitri, maybe you can help me out understand. I'm personally not invested in crypto through my eToro account. I do have some on the side where I put a couple euros that I don't know what to do with. The change that I make every month, I put them on that crypto app, and I see. I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. But if Jamie Dimon is right, and Jamie Dimon is someone really respectable with a lot of knowledge in finance. He's incomparable in terms of knowledge. Why is Bitcoin the only one that received an ETF approval?
Okay. Hello, everyone, first of all. So the Bitcoin is the only one that got the approval because it was impossible for all of them to get them at the same time. The investors and institutions, they wanted to dip their toes into their whole regulating of crypto. So they went with Bitcoin first, which is the one with the largest market cap, is the one that other famous investors like it, the likes of Paul Tudor Jones or Bill Miller, the value investor, the guy from MicroStrategy, what's his name?
Michael Saylor, no?
Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor is a huge advocate for Bitcoin.
Mm.
You don't get that from people from Ethereum or Solana or Cardano. It's not mainstream yet. But for Bitcoin, you have some people to put a fight on the media. And this, they have to start from somewhere. They have to start with some crypto. And Bitcoin was the easy choice to go with. But don't make no mistake, Ethereum ETF will happen soon. And then once Ethereum happens, then the whole thing then they're gonna make for the top 10 by market cap coins.
But where does it stop? Do you think they will do just the first top 10? Because now they approved Bitcoin. We're already talking about the Ethereum approval. That one will get approved eventually. We don't know.
Yes.
Then the next would be Solana, etc.
Yes.
Where does it stop? Are we just gonna ETF slash institutionalize every single crypto project? There are more than 20,000 projects out there. I mean, me personally, and that's why I stay out of crypto, except some change that I invest every month, is that more than 20,000 projects. If I wanted, I could create my own crypto project this week.
Yes.
Right? Where I would basically be in control of an entire crypto ecosystem and be able to oversee transactions happening. So where does it stop the creation of ETFs? And also, how is Bitcoin, because this related, how is Bitcoin different from all the other coins? Why? Because Bitcoin received that ETF approval. Is it just because it had the first mover advantage that is like the most famous because it's kind of the first one?
Yes.
Is that the sole criteria to have an ETF? You just need to be the first one in some kind of use case.
Yes. It was the first one. And you have the advantage when you are the first, that's number one. on your first question, where this thing stops, it will stop when people start getting hurt. Like IPOs, shitty companies go public, and investors get hurt. The same with SPACs. The same is gonna follow with crypto as well. After the top 10, once the good, useful coins go into an ETF, or maybe they're gonna combine some all together, then there would be an institution that they're going to get Shiba Inu into an ETF. And I know it sounds ridiculous now, but give a few years, okay? And then investors are going to lose money. Then the regulators are going to get involved, and then they're going to
Mm-hmm.
set up the parameters, and then it's going to be just the large coins. Now, as far if it's a good investment or not, that's a different story. But in my opinion, I think that once the floodgates open, then everything goes.
But what use cases can you think of Bitcoin beyond the ones Jamie Dimon mentioned? And I have here the exact list of use cases
Yeah.
according to Jamie Dimon: fraud,
Yes.
tax avoidance, money laundering, sex and drug trafficking, and terrorism financing.
Yes.
These are real use cases.
Yes.
So, do
Not
we
good
have
ones.
other use cases?
Not good ones though.
But for sure, not a good one. But those are unfortunately the main
Yes.
use cases
Yes.
of Bitcoin. So, can crypto adoption grow beyond its illegal uses? Because with 20,000 projects, and let's say you have a wallet for Solana, and me myself, I have a wallet of Cardano, right? My change I invested in Cardano, mostly in Cardano actually. The spare money that I make every month, but I don't even look at it. I chose Cardano because there are some interesting partnerships with big corporations,
Mm-hmm.
and also working on a smart chain that has a lot of really interesting functionalities that, in my opinion, could be used eventually on the corporate level. But does crypto truly have real use cases beyond the ones that I mentioned, beyond the ones that Jamie Dimon listed? So fraud, tax avoidance, money laundering, sex and drug trafficking, terrorism financing. I mean, do you use it, in your personal life for something?
No, no, I don't.
Never.
And I don't think there's a use in real life right now. I'm not gonna go. I mean, I can pay with my Binance card and sell crypto, but I'm not gonna go buy a cup of coffee from Starbucks and pay with Ethereum. That's just ridiculous. That's why we have euros and we have dollars. So you can pay with the currency. In the future, maybe it will be a different story, but for me, I see it solely as a way to make money. So buying the coins at a certain price,
Mhm.
hoping that you're gonna sell them higher.
So it's completely speculative
It
in your
is,
case.
it is, and
Completely speculative.
it is.
So basically, you would buy junk based on technical analysis, because this is what you're telling me.
Yeah,
Speculative means junk. You're buying something that has no intrinsic value
yes,
because you think based on how you read the chart and on some other knowledge, some other information,
yes.
for example, Bitcoin cycle, right? I
Mhm.
assume that's what you're using, that you're buying that to sell it later to another sucker, basically, who will buy it
Yes.
much more expensive.
It's not exactly like that. Bitcoin, you can make the argument Bitcoin is a store of value like gold, even though gold doesn't have any use either. And you can't pretty much you can't do anything with gold. I mean, you can do something with Bitcoin, but you can't do anything with gold.
I'm
I mean,
going to sound sexist, but women love gold. They don't love Bitcoin for for the
oh,
marriage proposals, right?
yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
you ask a woman, you want gold or Bitcoin?
It,
What can she put on her finger?
if
Not
she
Bitcoin.
if she's someone that is she's an investor, she might go with the Bitcoin. She might
Yeah.
go with Bitcoin. But um,
Would
I
you prefer to receive gold or Bitcoin? Similar
gold,
value.
gold.
Gold.
I prefer gold. Yes.
For what reason? What do you see additionally to gold that you don't see in Bitcoin?
Um, I like to hold the gold coins in my hands. I like to go to my vault and open it and see let's see my gold coins. When I'm having when I'm having dinner with a friend, I'm gonna just throw it on the table and say, check that out.
Mhm.
What am I gonna do? Check my Bitcoin? What am I gonna you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But there is the speculative element, and anybody who denies that just lies to himself or herself. Okay, I don't want to sit here and lie to you that this is an investment of value, or I'm looking for intrinsic value. Even though Bitcoin is the only coin from all the coins that you can make an argument, you can somehow figure out the intrinsic value, which is the mining cost.
the mining
It's the
cost,
only
absolutely.
argument.
Currently, just for the information of our audience, currently the mining cost, it depends on the crypto miner,
Yeah,
but for a crypto miner in the US, it's approximately around 20,000 at the moment,
20,000.
between
Okay.
15 and 20,000. Some manage to do cheaper, some of course do it more expensive, but this is a rough average in the US. In some countries like Kazakhstan, it's very cheap, or much cheaper
Yes.
than in the US because electricity is cheaper there to power the Bitcoin mines.
Mm-hmm.
But roughly speaking, it's between 15 and 20,000. And in the last bear market, we saw that it was at this level was reached for Bitcoin, and it did not go lower than that.
Yes.
So in a way, we know where the support
Mm-hmm.
stands currently, meaning that tomorrow Bitcoin could fall all the way down to 15, 20K.
Yes.
From there on, there would be some support because from there on, it's not profitable anymore for crypto miners to
Mm-hmm.
sell their Bitcoins.
Yes.
And there, the supply would be really drastically reduced.
Mm-hmm.
And there you have a good level of support. But again, it's still quite speculative. And in your case, you said that Bitcoin might be one of the few that you can put some kind of not value, but some kind of yeah, you have the mining cost. But in your portfolio, so me, I don't have any cryptos. I do have a crypto miner, which is a Hut 8.
Mm-hmm.
There, it's easier for me to value it because you actually have proper financials. You have EBITDA, you know the dividend that they're paying or not.
Yes.
But how do you pick how do you pick crypto? Because I know how to pick a stock, but how do you pick a crypto? You don't have any financials, you don't have any
Mm-hmm.
financial statements. Actually, the current SEC chair, Gensler, he was yesterday on CNBC. And he did say that so he's really anti-crypto, and he did say that as long as crypto projects don't have financial statements, he will keep seeing them as scams.
Yeah.
So will crypto projects ever have something as solid as audited financial statements, or is it a complete different world? And Gensler is just a dinosaur who doesn't understand how crypto works and how to pick cryptos. In your case, I think you have Solana and Ethereum, if I'm not
Ethereum.
mistaken,
Yes.
in your portfolio. How did you choose to pick them? Is it purely speculative? You saw the chart, you were like, all right, those look like the ones who crashed the most from the all-time high, and at the same time they're in the top 10 biggest cryptos, or how what's your selection process, and what do you not recommend, but maybe someone who is just starting can take some inspiration from your way of picking cryptos within a diversified portfolio?
Yes. So so let's establish first that even though you and I were investors and most of my portfolio is not crypto, it's a very small part of my portfolio invested in crypto. You
It's
are
like what,
fully
five between 5 and 10%
5 and
of your
10%.
portfolio?
Yeah, I believe now it's 8%.
8%.
So 8%. You are 100% stocks, so you're not participating at least on your eToro portfolio.
Stocks,
So
ETFs, yes.
yeah,
Correct.
so But you have to agree with me that even though investing the way we do it, that we go through financials and we read the news and we want to see the management, if it's a good management, if they have ethics and all that, even all that taken into account, there's still an element of speculation in it. You're speculating that Apple is going to sell more phones next year, and Tim Cook is going to weather the storm in China, and there's an element of speculation. Maybe it's not speculation. Today is the 8th, so the S&P is going to go down. I'm going short. That's complete speculation. But there is an element of speculation in every investor, whatever you're investing in my opinion. An element, not speculation, an element. So from there, once we establish that, and then you start looking to cryptos, then number one, you have to don't go all in. If you want to dip your toes, just make it 5, max 10% of your portfolio. I would actually suggest not to keep it with your stocks. Keep it separate, because you can get something wrong and it's going to eat all your performance from your real stocks. You're going to want to do that, but don't do what I do, because I'm in a different category. And
Yes, in your case, you want to have that offering for potential couplers.
yes, yeah, because a lot of people like it. A lot of people want exposure into crypto, especially younger investors. They want to have some exposure into crypto, but they don't want too much exposure. You don't
But
want to
if you were not a popular investor, you would keep it separate, right? Is my
Yes,
understanding correct?
yes, I would. And I do have some separate. Most of it actually is in a different wallet. But and then from there, you want to make your selection. Then your selection process that you use for stocks is kind of similar to crypto. I'm talking about the market cap. They have to be in the top 10 in the market cap. At least for me, they are less volatile than the rest of them. And that says something, because they can go down 10-15% in a day. So imagine how the smaller ones behave. And the
And
smart
they're probably less dependent, sorry to interrupt, they're probably less
ones,
dependent on one single investor.
yes,
So-called whales.
yeah,
Whales are big coin holders exiting one crypto project. And so probably the big ones, the big crypto projects are less sensitive to one single seller. They tend to sell off when the entire market sells off, really.
yes,
While for smaller coins, smaller market cap coins, it's sometimes sufficient for one big seller to go out for the price to completely drop.
to completely drop.
But
And
the
then,
opposite is also true. One single buyer come in and the price could easily double for small cap projects. While for big cap projects, you need really a lot of buyers to come
yes,
in to support the price rise,
mhm,
which means that if you have also a lot more buyers, there's also a lot more interest. It doesn't mean there's a use case, but there's probably something that differentiates it from all the other coins.
yes. And then from there, once you establish the reason why the big market cap and the small market cap, what the difference is, then my preference is for coins to have, if we take Bitcoin out, I like coins that have some capability of smart contracts. That's important for me, because I can see a use case into the future.
Yes.
Ethereum, Solana are the ones. Cardano is really good. And I'm not really an expert into the crypto market. I know just, and the same with stocks. I don't know every stock in the US stock exchange. I only know that narrow circles that interest me, and I stick with that. So for me, all those criteria have to be there for me to make a selection. So there you go.
I'm somehow going to insert the name of Warren Buffett
Yes.
in our crypto topic. We just had the Berkshire shareholder meeting, the annual shareholder meeting in Omaha, Nebraska, in a huge stadium. Lots of people joined.
Per one.
And sorry,
Our friend Christopher went to
our
the.
friend Christoph was there, And one of the most famous quotes of Warren Buffett, probably everyone knows, even the ones who are not into investing. He said, "My favorite holding time for my stocks is forever."
Yes.
Is it applicable for cryptos? Would you
No,
hold? Is that your time horizon for the cryptos you invested in? And is that how crypto investors should be investing in crypto with the idea to hold them forever?
no, it's not, because crypto and blockchain is technology, and technology becomes obsolete really quickly. So the forever argument goes out of the window. That's why Buffett, he doesn't have too much technology in his portfolio, and he's able, because the railroads, they're not going to build any more roads to go through. It is what it is. Coca-Cola, they're not another brand is not making Coca-Cola. So even with technology,
But hey, he has half of his portfolio in Apple. That's a technology company and could
is it
easily become obsolete
is it
and
technology?
beaten by competitors. Don't you think?
I don't think. I mean, Apple is so big at this point, and it's so much of the. By the way, he decreased his position 2 times in the last few months. So
But the
that's
reason
something.
was not a lack of belief in Apple. What was the official reason that he stated?
Yeah, I don't believe the official reasons.
The
Oh,
official reason was he wanted to get some more liquidity.
yeah, he wanted to make them 200 billion to hold them in cash. 189 wasn't enough, so he wanted to get 100 and then 199, so he can stack them in his basement. Um, so technology becomes
By
a
the way, his successor will be is in an excellent position, his potential successor, because he will come in and will have this huge cash pile left behind by Warren Buffett
yes,
that he can invest and he can easily rebalance Berkshire Hathaway's portfolio. I mean,
yes,
that's just between brackets, just something I
yes.
wanted to mention. So, what's your favorite holding time for your cryptos? If it's not forever, like Warren Buffett,
It's definitely not forever for crypto, for me at least. But my favorite is between 2 and 4 years.
2 and 4 years.
2 and 4 years.
2 and 4 years from when? From the moment, for example, someone who buys today should hold at least 2 to 4 years, or
I mean, so usually the bull
because
market,
hey, we had the halving
yes,
in April, so we're already in May. So last month we had the Bitcoin halving. Usually the Bitcoin a new, high peak of bull market happens about 1 year and a half after Bitcoin halving. So that puts
yes,
us November next year or
yes,
around November. Of course, it could come much earlier. It could come already April next year. Some say since everyone already expects a high, it would come at the end of this year,
hmm.
especially with the new ETFs now coming and really boosting the demand for Bitcoin. Um, so someone who buys now, you recommend to hold 2 to 4 years in any case, or should have some kind of target in mind.
So
Not
it's
a time target, but a price target instead of a time target.
no, I don't have a price target. I have so the whole reason between the 2 and 4 years is because bull markets in Bitcoin, they last they go into 4 year cycles, right?
Yes.
So based on that,
From
assume
halving to halving, it's
having
about
to
4 years, just for our audience.
having, and they try to pick the timing to sell at the top. Good luck with that. But between 2 and 4 years, if you even try to do it in a meaningful way, to buy low and sell high, don't try to pick the bottom, don't try to pick the top, but at least make money in between. That happens between 2 and 4 years. That was my reason between 2 and 4 years. So
Mm.
now, when Bitcoin behaves like that, the rest of the crypto market just follows. If Bitcoin drops, then Ethereum, Solana, everything follows. So you go with the timeline that Bitcoin has set, and then everything goes with it. So
Mhm.
that's the way I go about it.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. So in my case, the way I do, as I said, I have some crypto holdings on this side.
Mm-hmm.
The way I do is I try to see the previous halvings, how much time it took to the next peak,
Mm-hmm.
and I estimated that the next peak would be, so in terms of time, that it would be November next year, but also in terms of price, if we follow strictly statistically, it is likely that Bitcoin will be around 130K
Mm-hmm.
per coin at some point at the end of this year or next year. So in my case, I have this double target, time and money.
Yes.
And whichever gets triggered first, I sell my cryptos and I keep the profit. If none of them get, if none of the target get hit, it's fine. I'll have to hold until the next cycle, until a new cycle starts again.
Yes.
So this is the way I proceed. But there are really so many ways, so many different ways to navigate the crypto market. But in any case, you should, if you're investing crypto, I think you should have it within a diversified portfolio,
Yes.
and definitely not money that you need it, that you might need it for your retirement, or it should be money like I do, change money. So money that I wouldn't that I don't notice that I'm putting them in that crypto app, and that I not going to need for my tax liabilities or for my retirement. So I think it's really important when you invest in crypto, it's money that you're completely ready to say goodbye forever to,
Mm-hmm.
because it is absolutely possible that the value would decline by more than 90%.
Yes.
This is very common for a lot of crypto coins. Even for Bitcoin, it can go down more than 70, 80%. And it does happen regularly, that the value really falls down really sharply. Um, During the last bull market, it was at 69K, and in the last bear market, it reached around 15K, something like that. So that's like a huge drop. So in your case, Dimitris,
Yeah.
and this, I want to challenge you a little bit on this, and I am very good to hear your response. But basically, you own JP Morgan stocks. I can see you smiling already. I don't know if the audience can see, but I can see you smiling already, and
Yeah.
you know where I'm going. You
Yeah.
have JP Morgan stocks.
Yeah.
JP Morgan, the CEO, Jamie Dimon, he said Bitcoin is a fraud, etc.
Yeah.
You have Berkshire Hathaway stocks of
Yeah.
Warren Buffett that would never invest in crypto. And himself and Munger already said that Bitcoin's a scam, no intrinsic value,
Yeah.
and their favorite holding time for stocks is forever, which is essentially not possible for cryptos.
Yes.
And you also hold cryptos. So
Yes.
this is a major contradiction. So either
Okay.
you have, and I'm sorry, it's nothing personal, but either you have no back spine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're some creature that is extremely flexible without bones,
Yeah.
or you have some other rationale that you need to share with us here.
So my rationale is, by the way, I'm extremely flexible when it comes to investing. I'm willing to take chances and I'm willing to change my mind in a dime. And that's, I believe, what makes me a good investor because I can change my mind. I can tell you one thing today, and by next podcast, I'm gonna tell you. You know what I tell you last week? I changed my mind.
But
So
is that a quality actually? Should an investor not be consistent and stick with whatever plan or ideas
um,
he or she made
yeah,
in the
but once
beginning?
you receive new data, new information, you have to be able to change your mind.
So you are completely data driven in that sense.
I when I'm making decisions, yeah, I mean, some of it's like, you get like a gut feeling that you say, okay, I'm feeling my gut, this is the right move, but you have to make some decision based on some data, on some numbers,
Assumptions on
on some
some,
assumptions, yeah. So
and those assumptions, those data, they can change, right? Because the world is constantly moving,
yes,
right? So if the world is moving around you, especially in crypto, that is really technological, a completely technological sphere, where things move so fast, uh, as an investor, the main quality would be to be actually flexible, right? To
Yes.
not be stuck there in your position, sitting on your chair with a plan written on paper that you hang on the wall. So as a crypto investor, you recommend that it should be, you have to have this mental flexibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that you should not probably get too emotionally attached. I know some people get emotionally attached
Get very emotionally
to,
attached.
to their holdings, to their stocks, to their cryptos, etc.
Yeah, they think that they're kids. They think that their coins are their kids, and you
I've heard people say, "Look, I have 2 trillion Shibas. I love them."
you love them, and they might go to zero. And you know which people are the worst? I believe the worst people are the Bitcoin folks. The Bitcoin people are the people that they don't want to hear about Ethereum, about Solana, about nothing. They believe that it's Bitcoin and everything else except Bitcoin are shit coins. But you know I'm right. Most people they believe about Bitcoin. So those people, they're not going to change their minds. Even if they get the new information, if they get the new data, they get the new projects that are coming into the market, and they have the technical knowledge to see if it's a good project or not, they're not going to change their mind because they're so tied to their convictions that it is what it is, the Bitcoin, and after Bitcoin is the chaos. I'm not like that. I'm flexible. I'm open because in the end, I'm in this to make money. I don't care about any of my holdings in a way that I'm gonna lose sleep at night. I
Mhm.
can rebalance my portfolio in a hurry. So regarding Jamie Dimon, you know how much I love Jamie Dimon. He's my hero, and he's up there with Buffett. He is the most, in my opinion, the most respected banker in the United States. I can argue the world, okay?
Mhm.
When he talks, people listen.
Mhm.
So what do you expect a CEO of a major bank in the United States to say? I love Bitcoin. I'm going to buy Bitcoin. Even if he wants to buy Bitcoin, he
But
will.
Larry Fink from BlackRock, who launched an ETF that invests in Bitcoin, essentially said that between the lines.
Yes.
Even though he used to hate Bitcoin before,
Mhm.
now he kind of seems to even adore Bitcoin.
Yes. So, and
Could
sometimes,
that happen to Jamie Dimon?
no, I don't think because Jamie Dimon, he's the head of JP Morgan. He can't be seen liking because crypto wants to the point of crypto, they want to undercut the middlemen. Who are the
Mhm.
middlemen? The
The
banks.
banks.
The banks are the middlemen. So in essentially crypto and the crypto project, the smart contracts, they want to go after the business of the banks. If that happens or not, it's a different story. I don't think it will in our lifetime. Maybe it will be in our lifetime, but way down the line. So I don't think in any way you will see a major bank CEO, at least from the big banks, to admit that ought to recommend buying or investing in crypto.
Mhm.
Because sometimes on the same week, you can hear Jamie Dimon on Davos saying that Bitcoin is whatever you mentioned in the beginning. And then 2 hours later, a guy from JP Morgan's securities and chief portfolio manager, you know what I'm talking about, it's going to come and say
Mhm.
Bitcoin is going to 150. And then you're trying to make sense.
Absolutely.
Then you're trying to
Absolutely.
make,
JP Morgan has some interesting price targets for
yes,
Bitcoin that are
yes,
quite bullish, actually. And crypto projects, they want to undermine banks, but
yes.
also government, tax administrations,
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of public administrations. So it's also, in a way, for some investors in crypto, I'm not going to use a bad word, but in some way, it's a way how to avoid saying that bad word. To basically create an alternative to public administrations, to governments, to
Yes.
basically say a big whatever, right? To
Decentralization is a word that could be used to replace a lot of things. Decentralization from banks, decentralization from governments,
from
uh,
any kind of public powers and
whatever you don't like,
from those
decentralize.
perceived as from
Yes,
those perceived as people with power, indeed.
yes.
And people with power, that scares them, right? That they might lose that power or that influence. And
And it's
that's
a
why
lot
you
of
hear a lot of noise, actually, in
and it's a
crypto.
lot of revenue that the governments have from the banks charging those fees, paying taxes on those fees, moving money back and forth. There's a lot of money to be made from governments, taxation, and otherwise from money moving back and forth. I, I believe,
But in my opinion, if I may, because you have shares of JP Morgan, I actually own shares of BlackRock,
yes,
where Larry Fink is the CEO, and he's saying now good things about Bitcoin, and he didn't before.
yeah,
In my opinion, Larry Fink has so we can see him as an opportunistic, as someone who doesn't have a backbone, etc.
yeah,
But in my opinion, he has this flexibility that Jamie Dimon doesn't. Jamie Dimon is extremely consistent, actually. He repeats the same things year after year after year after year.
yes.
He's extremely consistent, actually, in his thought process. And I think that this flexibility, just like we discussed a few minutes ago, is an important skill to have. And it's something that I see with BlackRock. BlackRock has a lot of power,
Yes.
huge amount of power, and they could be undermined by crypto. But what they do is they side with crypto.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if their fingers get burnt or not. But they even launched an ETF investing in Bitcoin. And I think that there is a little risk for JP Morgan to be completely out of that race should crypto adoption happen at full scale and the entire world adopt crypto. JP Morgan might be left behind. It might be too late for them already to catch up on BlackRock, Grayscale, and the other first movers, ARK, of course, from Cathy Wood.
Mm.
Don't you see that risk for JP Morgan?
I could see the risk, and I believe the reason that they're not engaging with crypto is because they are also in the commercial side of banking. It's not just investment banking. So they are into commercial banking, and they're holding people's deposits. So
Mhm,
once you're holding people's deposits, you don't want to be seen doing shady, at least to the eyes of politicians. I don't believe they're shady, um, shady stuff with crypto. But I also think that the image that Jamie Dimon is portraying about crypto, I believe his people, they working to get into crypto in a different way. Maybe it's not going to be an ETF, but maybe they can hold it for you. They can be custodians, or they can be, you know what I mean?
mhm,
I believe they are, and I believe they already are into that market with crypto. I don't know the extent exactly, but I wouldn't bet. But you see, it's conflicting because I understand what you're saying. He's
mhm,
consistent. He's been saying that about crypto for so long. Every chance he gets in front of camera, he's gonna say the same thing.
mhm,
Okay, they're gonna ask him a question on purpose, so you can give them something to write. He's gonna give them something to write, but then you don't want to bet against him.
mhm. Yeah,
So to
absolutely.
answer your question, why do I have Bitcoin? Why do I have Ethereum, Solana, and JP Morgan and Berkshire Hathaway? Because I believe they can both coexist the same way ExxonMobil and Tesla can coexist.
Mhm.
So why
Do you
why
have
do I have to make a choice? Why do I have to be either or? Why I can't do both?
mhm.
And
And
then and then decide.
I think this is a really a fantastic conclusion. I think that you reached for our audience in this crypto episode. Did you have any other final word as someone who holds shares of JP Morgan, Berkshire Hathaway, but also cryptos? Is there something perhaps that you would advise new investors, or maybe a quote, or maybe an anecdote that you want to share with people?
Um, you have to be able to value different stocks and different companies in different sectors in different markets differently. if you just like Berkshire Hathaway, then you're only going to have Berkshire Hathaway and Berkshire Hathaway like companies. But you have to be able to be a multidimensional. You have to be able to, you have to be well-rounded.
Because being an investor is actually, you have to have as many faces as possible, as many
Yes,
ears as possible, as many eyes as possible,
yes,
and ideally only one mouth, and a lot of noses if you
yes,
can. You need to be able to smell all the opportunities. You need to be
yes,
able to analyze from in different ways, to have even multiple brains if possible, to
yes,
be able to analyze everything differently, actually. And I
yes.
think this is a fantastic conclusion that we reached. And I hope you guys who have been listening to us uh, can take something away from this episode, something useful to your own investing. And we thank you for listening to our episode. For our next episode, we're going to have a very special guest,
Mhm.
which is also an investor, but a famous investor, even more famous than Dimitris and myself. And guys, we'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys. See you guys next week.